Okay, so today we're going to learn how to change guitar strings, and I thought I'd show you the parts that you want to have. First of all, you want to have your guitar. If you play guitar a lot, your guitar strings maybe will only last 2 or 3 or 4 weeks. I play every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, and so I do tend to change them about every 3 weeks. When I'm going to change my guitar strings, I need the following strings, and I use D'Addario mediums, which means that the smallest string is a .013 and the largest string is a .056. These are D'Addario mediums, phosphor bronze. They cost about $6 when you buy them in bulk, and so that's the first thing that you need. Second thing that you need is a peg winder, and the peg winder is really handy because it has a couple of different things on it. This peg winder, by the way, says Planet Waves. This costs all of, I don't know, maybe $6 at the music store, but it has a couple different things. First of all, it has a notch at the end where you can pull out the pegs that the strings are attached to. Second thing is, when you're putting the strings back on, you can put this around the tuning peg and go a lot faster. And the most important thing is that it is a string cutter. So when you put the string that you want to cut in here, that's what you can cut it with. So this part just literally comes out like this, creates a hole where you can put the string and then cut it like this. So you definitely need that. I always have my snark tuner with me because that's the easiest way to get the strings back into pitch once you put them back on. And then believe it or not, I have the capo with me too, because if the songs that I'm going to be doing are in capo 3, for instance, I'm actually going to tune the guitar with the capo on and using my snark tuner. So the first thing we have to do is we have to take the old strings off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put the string winder, the peg winder, on the lowest string, hit the note, and then I know I'm going the right way when I hear the note go down. So I'm just going to unwind that. So that's the lowest strings unwound. Then I'm going to put on the next lowest string, which is in this middle position on the near side. So I know I'm going the right way. Get that all unloosened. Same thing with the next string. If there were any cats around, they would be putting their ears up because they don't like that sound. I move on to the third string, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll put the peg winder here, I'll play the note, and I'll go the way where the note goes down. Keep on unwinding it. Now I'm on the B string, the second string from the top. Okay, now I'm going to move up hopefully so you can see this a little bit better. So here I've got the low string, and it's loose enough that I'm just going to unwrap it directly from the top. I'm just literally unwrapping it. It comes out. Same thing with the next one. And if I don't have it unwrapped enough, I can just do a little bit more with my hand so I can get the string unloosened. That's the difference between a wannabe guitar player and a real guitar player, is if you know how to change your own strings, I think. Might as well learn how to do it. So here I'm on the next one, and I'm just going to unloosen it, or loosen it until I can get the string unwound and pull it off the thing. Moving on to the third string. Just going to loosen it until I can unwrap it. Unwrap, unwrap. It's always a good idea to make sure you're taking the peg and moving it the right direction. Okay, I've got that one left. The last string's pretty easy because it's all loose. Okay, so now all the strings are loosened from up here, and now I've got all these loose strings hanging from the bottom of the guitar. We take our handy dandy peg winder, and again, the bottom of the peg winder has a little notch right there that I'm going to put under the guitar. So it goes like this. You can see that. I'm going to put it like this, and then I just pull up, and then that peg will come out. So I've got the peg in my hand. Here's the loose string. And what I do so I don't end up with strings that are going to be weapons in my house is I'll go ahead and wrap them up right away so they get out of the way here. I'll take the peg that I just took out and put it right back in so I don't lose that. And now I'm going to wrap the string up. Just kind of wrap it on itself. By the way, I found that these are very useful to hang wreaths outside at Christmas time. Now I'm on the next one. Again, on the bottom I'm on the A string, which is the second one. I just put this in, pop it out, pull the end pin out, pull the string out, and pop this bad boy back in, and then repeat the steps. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull all these out of the bottom. Pulling them all out. Here's my last one. Okay, so now I've got all these strings. What you can do is just kind of wrap them all in a little knot. Get them out of the way. Make sure you don't lose them in the carpet so that no one steps on them. Believe me, they won't appreciate that. So here I've got my old strings, and I'm just going to set them aside. This will be the time to wipe your guitar with a clean cloth. Just get the dust and the dirt away from it. Okay? So the next step is I take my strings, open them up. They've got the which strings are which on the back, so I'll set that right here next to me. They're hermetically sealed in this plastic package, so I'm just going to open the plastic package, get to my strings. The strings come all wound up like this, and Diodario puts them in pairs. So these are the top two strings. I can tell by feel that these are the middle two strings and these are the lowest two strings because they're the biggest. So we're going to start with our lowest string, and on the back of my sheet it tells me that the brass colored one is the 6th string. So I'm going to unwind these guys. So now I've got my brass string and my red colored string, and I know that this is the 6th, the lowest string, and the 5th, the next lowest string. So with no strings in, it's very easy to just pull the end pin out with my finger. So what you do is you take and put the brass circle thingy, feed it inside, and then stuff the pin down. Now there's little ridges on this end pin. The ridges you want to have facing the guitar, facing the neck. So we put these ridges in, and then to seat the string, we're going to push down on the black button and pull up on the string. Okay? So I've got this guy here. I'm going to do the same thing with the red string in the 5th position. Again, I put the red ball down. A lot of times what you can do is just take this ridge and push it down. Pull up. Leave that there. The next string is the one that's black. That's the D string. So I'm unwinding these guys. I've got the black one, the D string in my left hand, and the green one in my right hand. So I'll go next to the D string here. Put the black guy in there, the black ball. Push down. So now I've got the 3 lowest strings I've got dangling on the left hand side of my neck. And now I'm going to put the other 3 strings on the right side of my neck. And that'll make sense here in just a second. So now I'm on the green colored one, which is the G string, 3rd string. Put it in, push this guy down. Remember the ridges? And then I'm going to loosely dangle it on the right hand side of the neck. Final 2 guys. I'm going to unwind, and this thing tells me that the purple guy is my B string, so I'll put that in next. Here's the B string. Doink. And finally the E string, the top one. I'm going to put that in here, put the peg down, and again I always pull up on it to seat it in there. Now, this is the part where I'm going to do my best to show you exactly where it goes. Remember Mr. String Winder that turns into a string cutter? I'm going to pull this apart, and you see how the hole opens up this here? That's where I'm going to put the string. Now, a guy in a music shop showed me this, and this is why you can make your strings look all cool rather than not having them fling out all over the place. All you do is this. So take the 6th string, the lowest one, 6th string, lowest one. Then you go up to where it's gonna. You go up to where it's going to go into the tuning peg. So here's where the 6th string goes. Is the lowest string goes on the left-hand side, the lowest position. So that 1st position. Here is where the E string goes. But I'm not going to cut it there because I need some winding space on the string. I'm going to go up to the next tuning peg, and that's where I'm going to cut it. So, take my cutters, go up here, hold it with my hand so it doesn't fling all over the place, cut it. Going to set the excess aside so no one in my household steps on it. And now I have the 6th string of the guitar at the proper length. Okay? I'm going to repeat this so that for the A string, which goes here in this 2nd peg, I'm going to actually cut it up here 1 peg later. Same thing with the D string. I'm not going to cut the D string here. I'm going to go up approximately the same distance and cut it like this. So let me show you what we do with the first one. So on this peg, the D or the E string, the lowest one on the guitar, I'm going to put it in and have it come out toward me, because when I start winding it, I want it to go this way. The string's going to wind up so that I can wind it on top of itself. So the way I do this, I'm going to turn the camera so you can look straight down and see what I'm seeing. Okay, now you're looking straight down at what I'm looking at. I've got my lowest E string, and here's where the hole is right here. I'm pointing at the hole in the tuning peg. So I put the guitar string through the tuning peg, and then I leave only about 2 millimeters hanging out the side of the peg. Okay? Just a little bit there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it to make sure that I'm turning the peg the right way. I'm turning my hand away from the guitar, and that's turning the peg the correct way. So what's important is, if you can see this, is that as I turn it, I'm going to turn the string and have the string go above the remnant of the string that's coming out the first time. And I'm holding it with my hand and turning the peg. So now this helps seat that string where I've got the string is above the little bit of string that's coming out. Now I'm going to use the string winder to do it a lot faster. And I'm going to just turn it while I'm pulling on it. The first one I want to go above that remnant of string, and the second turnaround I want it to go underneath. So if you can see this, I want you to see that to properly seat the string, the first time around I went above this little bit of string, and the second time around I'm going to go underneath. Then the remaining turns of the string won't matter. It'll just go where it needs to go. So now I can really crank on it. It's coming tighter and tighter. And now I'm going to feed it inside the little notch here on the top of the neck. The notch. See the notch right here? That's where it goes. And I'm also going to put my finger on the peg down here to make sure that it doesn't pop up on me. So I'll put my right hand pushing down on this as I'm turning and getting this kind of close to the pitch that I want it to go to. If I wanted to, I can cheat and put my snark on here. Attach my snark. Turn it on. I've got my snark attached. Let's see if I'm even anywhere close. So I tuned it a little bit too fast and the little bottom peg came out, so now I'm going to hold it on the bottom while I tune this. Get in the general vicinity of an E. Okay, so now if you can see the snark, when it goes green, I'm right on the pitch that I want to be at. Okay, so I've got that one. That's the E string. Now I'm moving on from the E string to the A string. That's the next one on. So like I said, now it's time to cut. I put my hand, first I'm going to spread out my cutters. They should look like this. I got the little notch there. I take, making sure I've got the right string, take my A string, I go to where it's supposed to go on the tuning peg, then I go up to the next tuning peg, and that tells me where to cut it. So I'm going to cut it there. Set aside my excess string. Now I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm putting the A string through the hole. Putting the A string through the hole. I'm leaving in excess of about 2 millimeters, maybe a half an inch. Then I'm going to start turning where I want that string to start coming toward me. The first time around, I want to go above the string to help it seat. So I'm going above the string. I'm going to use my string winder to do it more quickly. And the second time around, I'm going to go under the string. It's kind of an art form, but you'll get the hang of it after you do a little while. So I'm really holding on to that so that I get the string to wind properly. Okay? Now I'm going to move it in and let it pop into the little notch on the neck. There's my second string. I'm going to hold down the bead on the bottom right here while I'm doing the rest of the string tightening. So I know it should be about an A. Just getting the general vicinity. So there's the A. Now I'm on the D string. Here we go, D string. Again, remember this one, it's kind of tricky because you go to where the D string's supposed to connect. But obviously you don't want to cut it there. You want to go beyond that. So I'm going to go up above to about here. That's where I'm going to cut it. I've got plenty of space to be able to wind that bad boy in there. By the way, if the little hole's not lined up, you can just turn it until it gets to where you feel comfortable putting it in there. Okay, so I'm on the D string. Leave about a half an inch. Now I'm going to keep turning it. I'm turning my hand so that the first bit of string goes above it. Now I'm going to use the string winder and really start cranking it. Once I go around, I'm going to make sure that the second part of it goes below that little string remnant. Keep on cranking, 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 cranking. At the music store, sometimes they have a little screwdriver that has a little adapter to do this, but I don't mind doing it by hand. Okay. Now I'm going to hold the bottom bead again. I'm holding the bottom bead while I'm getting the string going. So here we go. So it should be about a D. Okay, now one very important thing. I've got half the strings on now. To seat this, what I can do is I can actually take and pull on the string. So I've got the D string on my thumb. I'm actually going to pull on it to seat it and stretch it out a little bit. Same thing with the A string. I'm going to pull on it, stretch it out, really make sure it's seated in there. Now that's going to cause my pitch to go down, but I don't care because I'm trying to get it so that this bad boy will stay in tune. Turn my tuner back on. Yeah, that put me down a half step. Now I'm back on an E. A. I won't tune it perfectly until I get all these guys on there. Again, the green on my snark is when it's in tune. It'll take a little while, even while I'm stretching it. I expect the strings to go flat until I really play it for a little while. Okay, so I've got the bottom three strings on. Now I'm moving on to the G, B, and D strings. The G string's pretty obvious because it's the last one that's brass colored in this case. And again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my cutters ready with the little hole there. And then I'm going to take the G string and position it at the tuning peg. It's supposed to go here, but I need some slack, so I'm going to cut it up here. So I'll cut this guy here. Set the stuff aside so no one steps on it. Now, when I'm working with the strings that are on this side, I'm going to actually turn the tuning pegs the other way. So the bottom three strings go, as I'm looking at it, they go counterclockwise. So the strings go around this way, but the top three strings of the guitar, they're going to turn, as I'm looking at my hand, they're going to turn clockwise. So they're going to go around and around to the right. So on this one, on the G string, I'm going to put the string back through, kind of facing away from me. And now I'm going to do the same drill, but it's going to look the opposite way. I'm going to turn it so that the string is turning this way. And now I'm going to hold my hand this way so that the first bit of long string is going to go above the string remnant. Keep on going. And when that feet comes back around, then I'm going to make sure the second time around it's going underneath it. Why do I do this again? I do it so the string sits properly and it'll stay in tune and get into tune more quickly. So I've got my peg winder. Now that I've got the hang of this, Now that I got the hang of it, I'm going to go a little bit faster. Making sure that you can see it. Okay, as I get closer, I want to make sure the string goes into its little notch there. Okay, so now I'm in the notch. I'm going to hold down on the peg as I get it into position. So, this should be it. Na, na, na. And again, now that I got it there, I'm going to stretch it a little bit, pull on it, which will flatten it initially. Put my tuner back on. Let's see how close I am. Going through the 4 strings that I've got on. Here's E. Is that easier to see? Let's see. Not bad, not bad. Okay, 2 more of these to go. Reach down here, go to my B string. Get my cutters ready to go. I've got the B string. I go to where it's supposed to go. And then I go up 1 more tuning peg. That tells me where to cut it. Put the excess across. Then again with this one, I'm going to put it through the hole away from me. And then I'm going to start winding. With the winding, I'm going toward me with the tuning peg, and that's bringing the string back around. So the first time I go above it, I know this is a little boring, but once you learn it, it'll make more sense. You'll get the hang of it. Then I keep on turning it, and when that little string remnant goes, then I'm going to be when the little string remnant comes around, then I'm going to be underneath it the second time. And yes, this can kind of hurt your fingers the way that I'm doing it. Okay. Keep on tightening it. As it gets more tight, or tighter I mean, then I'm going to put it in the notch. I'm going to hold the knob down here as I'm tightening it to make sure that it doesn't pop up. It should be a B. Now I'm going to stretch it. Now I'm going to stretch the string to have it sit both ways. Retune it. Okay, close enough. Now we're on to our last string. Here's the E string. It's seated down here on the bottom. I pull it up. I take it to where it's supposed to go, which is this tuning peg right here. Then I go to the next one. Cut it with my peg winder. Set the excess aside. Then I put the string through the hole away from me with about a 1/2 inch extra. Then I start turning the tuning peg toward me to bring the string around and tighten it. First time around, let's see if I can get it so you can see this a little bit better. Okay, so I've got the string in there. and I'm tightening it. It's going above the first time. Now as I zoom around the string remnant, I'm going to position my finger so that the second time around it goes underneath. Now that that's all seated, set this down. Use my peg winder to do it quite a bit faster. Again, turn the peg toward me. So I go zoom, 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 zoom. I'm holding it until it gets tight enough that I can seat it in the little notch here. I'm going to hold the peg down on the bottom so it doesn't pop up. Ma, shibi la la la. I'm going to stretch it out. Isn't that cool? How every time you stretch it out, makes the string a little bit longer so it lowers the pitch. Okay, now I'm going to go through. I'm going to grab a pick out of my handy dandy pick holder. If you don't have one of these, you should get one. They're all of about $2 at the store. Then buy a package of picks, put the picks in there, and then this adheres to the side of your guitar. So if you're strumming and one goes flying, you can just grab the next pick. Totally cool. So I'm going to use a pick now, play the note, and tune it up. Maybe you can see that, maybe. Getting it so it's in the green and stays in the green. If you tune the peg the wrong way, if you turn it the wrong way, then the note's not going to get closer, it's going to get farther away, but your ear will also tell you that. Okay, so now we have a tuned guitar. All the buttons on the, down here are all seated the right way. Got the strings all on. They're all in the right place. They're all looking good. And that is how you tune a guitar.